Hey, hey, it's Amy. I teach you how to make money with your art. I am so excited to be here with you today. Hold on, StreamYard's trying to show me something. Uh, Live streaming isn't enabled. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that. I just had a little glitch. Okay. Well, I had a little glitch, but that's okay. I am going to fix that on the back end at another time. So, hello. I'm so happy that you are hanging out with me today. For those of you that are on my email list, I did send out an email today. That's super cool. And we're going to be talking about that. I'm going to go through what I sent out if you're not on my list so that you can also participate and hear these three psychological traps that all artists face, right? First off, if you are just jumping onto StreamYard and you haven't commented before, you have to allow StreamYard to let me see your face and your profile so I know who's talking to me and who's jumping in the conversation. If you're watching this on the recording, that's fine too. You still can go ahead and jump in the conversation. Not a problem. I will come back and check like I always do. All right. So let's see here. Let's start with the first one. Okay. Does this sound like you? Have you ever thought that your artwork is not good enough? Did you think that you're not good enough as an artist and you have self-doubt? Because you know what, this can be crippling. Really, it can keep you from running a successful art business. Not just that, but just creating art in general, right? As you know, I love art and I love business, and I love helping you with your business. So that's why I want to talk about these three psychological traps that most artists face, right? So that I can give you some tips on how to overcome those. Go ahead and let me know where you're watching from. And like I said, go ahead and join in the convo. I will get back to you if I happen to miss what you're saying, because I'm just going over my email so I can tell you, for those of you that aren't on my list yet, what this is all about. So, have you ever been painting? You're like in the groove, and then all of a sudden you like kind of get into your own head, and you're like thinking things like, I'm speaking from experience here. Oh my gosh, this just isn't coming out the way that I want it. It's too hard, it's difficult, or I don't have the skill to make it look like I want. It's just not coming out like I want it to. Um, or if you're selling your artwork like I am, or if you're thinking about selling your artwork, you might even be painting away and thinking, oh my gosh, no one's gonna like this. Yeah, that's not good. That can be like really bad for creative flow and creative energy, as well as your business energy, right? I mean, don't feel bad. We've all been there, done that if you have been painting for a while, right? Um, we all get those moments of self-doubt, right? Um, but I do have some tips for you on how to start like overcoming this. Okay. So, what I like to do is if I start feeling like that and wondering if it's good enough, if my painting is good enough, and more times than not, what I'll do is I'll stop. I will put it up and take a break, and then I will come back to it later. And I'll finish it up when I have, better energy. And when I come back to it, sometimes it may be later that day, or sometimes it's a few days or even a couple of weeks. But when I pull that canvas back out and then I look at it, like I said, with like sort of like fresh eyes, then sometimes it's easier for me to get into the groove and go ahead and create that painting. So that may help you to do that. So let me know if you've tried that before. There's also some other things that you can do when this happens, right? If you don't like it, if you don't like what you're painting, and I'm speaking from experience here too, right? I have actually put numerous paintings like out there for sale in my collectors group or on my business page, wherever, right? I have or sent it to my email list. And, even if I didn't like it, and guess what? I've actually sold many paintings that way. Some that were like kind of surprising, like really. But this is because everyone that looks at art, typically views it in their own way. Art is subjective, so it means something different to different people. So, something that even if you are the creator and the artist and you created it and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know, you know, think of it this way, like it would be kind of selfish if you didn't put it out there and somebody really wanted that piece, right? Think of it that way. That's what I like to do because when it sells, it's like, oh my gosh, I can't even believe it. This is great. Somebody connected with this piece and really liked that piece. So, that is another tip if you are feeling a little bit down about what you're painting, if you're frustrated or whatever. Here's another idea that you can do. I've done this before. Is I kind of keep a spot in my studio, right? I paint a lot. I'm not sure about you, but I do paint a lot. I'm a fast painter for the most part. So what I do is I kind of keep a spot for like different sections of my paintings, like completed paintings or ones that I'm working on or ones that I just really they don't really float my boat. I know I can do better than that or whatever, right? So that pile typically is a smaller pile, but it is there in my studio. So what I've done with some of these is I've donated them. So you can consider doing something like that as well. Like I've donated, donate it to a local cause, in a charity, something in your local area, an auction, stuff like that. So this will make you feel good because you're doing a donation, and also guess what? It's going to build up awareness that you are an artist, that you're a local artist, right? I remember one time I donated a painting to a to a cancer, like raising money for cancer benefit that someone in my local area was doing. And I really didn't like the painting that much. Actually, with this one, I do remember when she came into the studio, I gave her two options because I had two pieces at that point, like in that specific pile. So I said, okay, here are my two paintings. You go ahead and choose what one you would like to take. So she chose one, and then later on, like I think maybe a few days or even a week went by, and then she sent me a really nice card in the mail, explaining to me that it did raise some money. People really liked the piece, and she was super grateful that I had donated it. So that made me feel really good. Plus, made her feel good as well. So there's another tip. And I have one last tip on this subject on, if you're feeling like you're not good enough, if you kind of get in your head when you're painting and you're like, oh my gosh, this isn't coming out how I want, like, what can you do with that piece, right? So here's my last tip on that is, you can gesso over it. I mean, it's only paint, right? So sometimes we just have to like be forgiving of ourselves as an artist. And if you are having a difficult time, you put a lot of energy into it and you're like, geez, I don't know. I mean, it's totally your call. You're the artist, but you literally could gesso over it and then just wait for another day and paint something different on the canvas. I've done that before. And it's not, I used to think of it as like a loss, like, OMG, I really screwed this up and what a loser I am. I just can't get this right and what a waste. And really, it's so bad to think like that because it's really not a waste of your time at all. It's actually learning curves that you're going through. And we are learning every step of the way within our creative process and our journeys as a whole, right? So if you look at it in that aspect of, well, now I have some more painting experience under my belt, then, then you don't feel so bad about gessoing over it. So hopefully that helps out. For those of you who are on my text list and didn't get a text, that's because I forgot to send one out before I started this video. So sorry about that. Oopsie, my bad. Go ahead and jump in, ask me anything that you want. Basically, I'm just going over some stuff that I sent out in an email today that I think is pretty powerful. And I really would love for you to hear it. So if you're not on my list, you didn't get that text, that email, then I'm just kind of going through what those were. Things that are kind of, that like traps that artists can fall in that I don't want you to fall in, but I want you to know, hey, I hear you, I feel you, been there, done that, and trying to give you some tips on how to get over those, right? Or how to like work through them. So that was number one. That was number one. If you're thinking your art's not good enough, if you missed the beginning of what I was saying, you can go back and watch the recording of this because I always leave the recordings here for you. So the second one is, number two is, I don't know what to price it at. Okay. I mean, this could be like a forever long video, which I'm not going to make it, but we could really go into detail here. I'd like to know how many of you have struggled with this because this is kind of like the daunting wonder of the creative world, right? What to price my painting. This seriously can prolong your art sales, and it's one of the biggest struggles that artists face. The ones that message me and talk to me anyway, and I as well have had this issue myself. So let's just cut to the chase here. I'm going to tell you the facts. So your art, first of all, this is your art that you created. You're the artist, and you seriously have the right to price it however you want. Now, if a customer doesn't want to purchase that piece at the price that you set, don't feel bad about it. Don't be like, oh my gosh, maybe I really got to lower it or this or that. In my opinion, it's just that that's not the right customer for that piece. Okay. So some pieces may be sitting in our studio for a few days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months, or even a year. Right. I actually even sold a painting the other day for a couple $100 that I had for literally 2 years. So you never know. So, if you want to have a sale on your work, you most certainly can do that. I've done that myself. But if you want to stick to your guns on a particular price that you feel good at with that painting, then don't feel bad if you don't get bites on it initially. Because everybody has a different price point in their mind, and every person is an individual, like I spoke about a little bit earlier about how art is subjective. So maybe, that person viewing that piece is just like not really that into it for whatever reason. If they were, maybe they would be willing to pay that price, right? So I just want you to know that if you do get no's or if you get no bites and you put something out there for sale, that is not really a bad thing. Okay. It's actually one step closer to finding the right type of art collector for you, for your business. And, it's another step to getting a sale for your pieces. We talk about how to price your art inside of Creative Warriors membership on a regular basis. I have trainings on this. I also have how to sell how to sell a painting coaching week on my website. It's only $10 if you want to check that out. There's a whole segment in there as well about pricing. I typically price per hour. There's artists that price all different ways, and we talk about those different ways, but that's the way that I price my work. So there's no right or wrong. You're the artist. It's totally up to you. And inside of our membership, it's great because we can like put up a photo and be like, oh, geez, I don't know. What do you think? And all of our creative warriors be like, oh, yeah, I think that's a good price, or maybe you could do this or that. But remember, even with feedback like that, it still is ultimately up to you on what you want to price it because you are the artist. Okay, so number 3, and we're talking right here about 3 psychological traps that all artists face, or most artists face, right? And I've been there, done that myself. So here I am speaking through experience here. So you might be thinking, I'm not a salesperson. If you want to start your own art business and make some money doing what you love, creating art, it's really not as hard as you think. I think that, well, I know me personally, I shouldn't put everybody like into like one basket here, but you know, a lot of times, like when I feel stressed or something like that, I make things way bigger in my head than it's going to be. This is sort of the same thing. Like if you are thinking, I want to start an art business, but oh my gosh, this is going to be just way too much. Usually we make things bigger in our head than it's going to be. So like if you get nervous and stressed out about the thought of negotiating with a potential customer, do you think that you wouldn't be good enough at selling because you may not have a business degree or an art degree? Hello, yours truly does not have either. Do you think it's going to take a lot of time? Right? I mean, this is really up to you. Do you want it to take a lot of time? Do you want to put a lot of time and energy into it? Do you only have a specific block of time available, per day or per week? It's really up to you because it's your business, right? Yes, of course, it's going to take a little time to sell some paintings, but it's your deal. It's your business. So you work it how you want. So, sometimes it can be like confusing and like it might feel like, oh my gosh, if I do this for a business, it's going to take like the fun out of creating. Have you ever thought of that? Hello, Gloria. Thanks for being here. I'm wondering if you ever thought of that. I remember this conversation that I had with my Aunt Susie, who is so super awesome. And she is incredible at cake decorating. And, every time I would go over and she would show me this cake and, because she was doing cakes for weddings, she did a cake for my wedding. She did cakes for, hello, Gail. Thanks for being here. Sorry, I didn't send out a text today. I totally slipped my mind. But thanks, ladies, for being here. But I'm trying to tell you a story here about my Aunt Sue, who is totally amazing. And she decorates cakes and me, I'm a businesswoman. I'm always coming up with ideas and trying to help people out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Susie, you've been doing this for years. These are so beautiful. And just, they're amazing. I'm like, and she's just like giving them away for free as gifts for parties, for like, birthday parties and weddings and baby showers, and the list goes on, right? How many of us have given gifts, our art away as gifts before? I mean, I know I have, I know I still do, but I also sell my art as well. So when I was talking to her about, trying to put like ideas in her brain about, this is great, like you literally could make some money off of this. Like you're doing custom, beautiful designs on these cakes, and cake decorating is like artistic, right? I'm not very good at it though. It's like, I don't even like to cook. You know me, if you follow me, I'm like the world's worst cook. But anyway, she's very good at it, my auntie. And she, we talked about it a little bit. She asked me a few questions and things like that, but she's like, nah, you know what? I've thought about it and I just don't want to do that, Amy, because then I'm not going to like what I do. Then I'm not going to want to create these cakes. I'm going to feel like I'm completely under pressure and I don't want to do it for business. It's just going to be too heavy on my shoulders. I do it for fun. I do it for, a hobby and to relax, right? A lot of us do that with our own artwork. But, there is a difference from by running your art business and creating something that you don't want to create and creating things that you do want to create. Now, me personally, the pressure that I would feel selling my artwork are commissions. And it's not like I never took commissions. I took a lot of commissions. I have one hanging up right now that I have to finish. But nowadays, I'm more particular about what kind of commissions I will take on because I know it gives me a little bit of stressor. So this is your business. So you can work it like that. You can be like, no, I don't do that type of work. Or yes, I do. You know what I like to do the most is I like to paint what inspires me to paint. Like this painting right here. I really enjoyed painting this little landscape back here. And if it sells, great. And if it doesn't, that's okay because I had a good time painting it. But I've sold many, many of my own painting designs that I just came up with on my own or took photos of, whatever. And I make sure that when I'm creating art, it's something that I like to create. I love business and I love to sell, but I want to make sure I'm creating what is fun for me. So you don't have to fall into that trap of being like, oh my gosh, I got to create this and paint this exactly how this customer wants it. I got to do this. I got to do that. We brainstorm all this stuff inside of Creative Warriors, and we do our brainstorm sessions twice a month too, which is super helpful for, talk conversations like this. So another thing that you may be thinking if you're like, well, I'm not a salesperson, how could I run a business? Well, along with that is like a lot of us feel like we're not techie enough. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. Like I am old school typer. I took typing class in high school. That's how old I am. My kids, when they were little, knew how to navigate around the internet, how to do stuff. And I'm like, oh, how do you do this? How do you do that? That's a learnable, teachable skill, which I teach you inside of Creative Warriors, by the way. And you really don't need a whole lot of techie-ness skills. I don't even know if that's a word, but really, you just need to know how to make a post, right? And a lot of the information that I was just talking about with this, I'm not a salesperson kind of thing. A lot of it is a mindset issue that literally can be turned around. And I like to pump up my members all the time, and they are amazing people. And when you start making money from your pieces, I mean, pieces that you love to create, it's like magic happens. It's like you start believing you can do it because guess what? You can, but you just have to get over that little like hurdle first and make those first, couple of sales and be like, oh, somebody really loves my artwork. Just check to see if I had anything I missed there. So, there's so many strategies that I can help you with to make sales with your artwork. Like I said, we talk about this in my membership all the time on a daily basis. I also do one-on-one coaching if you're interested in that. But I've been there, done that. I love being an art business coach and also still selling my paintings. So whether you want to just make, some extra Christmas money because it's right around that season right now that we got to be thinking about that instead of giving all your stuff away for free. Like you can give some away for free, but hey, you can make some sales too. And this is the busiest time of the year to make those. or whether you want to be like me, which I made enough with my art sales to pay my mortgage and bills every single month consistently for 3 years straight in a row. And then I started Creative Warriors. So I would love to help you with your art business. If you want help, that would be great. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. If you missed the beginning of this video, probably because I forgot to send out a text, but anyway, I will leave it here so that you can watch the recording. I was talking today about 3 psychological traps that most artists fall into. One is I'm not good enough. Like my art is not good enough. I don't know what to price it at. I'm not a salesperson. So how am I supposed to like run a business or sell a painting? So if you missed any of this, you most certainly can go back and check out the recording. It'll be right here for you. I sure do hope that you all have a wonderful day. And if you see the little scroll across the bottom of the screen and you want that free gift from me, the Art Business Guide, go ahead and text the word guide to 207-230-6018. And then you will get the Art Business Guide right there. It's packed full of amazing information. But you can reach out to me anytime. I would love to help you. Bye, Gail. Thanks for being here. Bye, Gloria.